Welcome to Truth by Billie Beene Flash Update. Today's date, July 9, 2025. Time in Texas about 1 p.m. And I'd like to say thank you to Alicia E. for extra support for my channel. I have a subscribe button in the lower right corner of my screen. Thanks for like, subscribe, and share, and for hitting the like button. That helps my channel to grow. So let's get started. We're going to begin with the update on the Texas floods. So we have flooding going on in the U.S. in many areas now, including Texas. So we had on July 4 a catastrophic flash flood in Kerrville, Texas, and surrounding counties, about 6 counties. And we've had, since July 4, 106 deaths. In the Kerrville area, where we had a lot of camps for children and other camping sites for people celebrating the 4th of July, death toll is now at 89, and this includes 30 children. I know one man who was recently gave a statement, and he was rescued from this area, Kerrville, and he gave the very sad testimony. They could hear children screaming, but they could not get to them because they were being washed downstream also. So that's going on. And then yesterday we were having flash flooding in various areas of Texas. Lubbock, Llano to Killeen, they were Copper's Cove. They were receiving 5 inches of rain in 90 minutes. So that's going on. Now, MonkeyWERX brought out some information about this area receiving weather modification. In my opinion, it's weather warfare. And we have this. NOAA in the last 30 days has been predicting various weather events. And we have, 12 girls were recently rescued 30 feet up in trees. They've just been rescued. That happened within the past 48 hours. And we have that Japan also going along with weather events. We do have earthquake swarms occurring in both California and Japan. That would go along with our weather events. And we have this, from MonkeyWERX. He has documented that in this area of Kerrville, Texas, that's located in central Texas, he could document with his flight radar software programs hundreds of cloud seeding flights were made over this area in the last 30 days before the flash flood event. Now, it's coming out, this is likely, this weather warfare event against Texas likely involves employees of both NOAA and the FBI. And I think I put out in my last video that I believe it was 160 employees of NOAA, FBI, and FEMA were now being questioned by the DOJ and had their government access denied. In other words, they can't log on to their computers, use their government phone, and so on. It's highly likely this is coming out on the heels of this catastrophic flash flood event in Texas. but we're seeing catastrophic flash flood events taking place in other areas also. Now, it's curious about this Epstein Island information. Now with the FBI coming out and saying there's no actual list. Well, I've been covering this for about 5 years. I'm very familiar with Epstein Island, the involvement of both the U.S. CIA, FBI, Mossad in Israel, and so on. So I'm not buying this, and I don't have any information yet on why President Trump's federal government is putting forth obvious lies about the Epstein list. But that's going on. Yeah, from Earthmaster, yesterday we had a 1.7 earthquake in Texas. That's a small one, about in central Texas. Japan has had a swarm of earthquakes. Now in Japan, they have this trough along the southern part of Japan. It's been predicted for several months that a big earthquake could occur here, something like a 7 or 8. Huge. So they've had up to 1,500 earthquakes along this Japan area in the last 30 days. We are also seeing swarms of small earthquakes along California, San Andreas fault line. So that's going on. And we have this. So we have from space weather, we do have a large hole in the sun facing the Earth today that could release or will release solar wind and produce a G1, G2 on Earth July 13 to 14. And we have this, a white paper coming out on YouTube Space Weather, formerly Suspicious Observers, that ice melt could lead to increased volcanoes. Now, I had another source talking about ice melting around Antarctica and increasing the salinity of the water around Antarctica. And that's likely to impact ocean currents. Now we have this, that we've had a catastrophic flood overnight in New Mexico, Rio Dosa, Roswell, and other areas. So in New Mexico, the rivers rose 30 feet in 30 minutes, just like we saw in Texas. I submit this is weather warfare. And we had people trapped, houses washed away. This morning I've heard they have documented 3 deaths so far in New Mexico. We also were having flash floods in eastern Oklahoma, western Arkansas. So that's going on. And now we have this. Oh yes, in China, near the Three Gorges Dam, there was a mountain that collapsed into the waterway and of course is producing catastrophic flash flooding. Yeah, so that's going on. And we have in New Mexico today, 300 rescues were made from Roswell, New Mexico. From the Texas Weather Center, it's highly likely today we'll see more rain east of I-35 Austin, Georgetown. Georgetown was having, in the last 48 hours, heavy rain and evacuating in some areas. So that's going on. Mary Greeley reports flash flooding in Chicago, where they received 6 inches in 3 hours. North Carolina is also experiencing flash flooding from the now deceased tropical system Chantal. That's gone away. The National Hurricane Center is not following any areas for tropic development at this time. And now we have this. Yeah. So we have some things going on with the economy and tech and the U.S. We do see the stock market up. And this is coming forth. We see everything up. Stocks are up. Gold and silver. The Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. This is about NVIDIA, a software company that makes various types of software graphics and applications for data science, chips for mobile software use. It's being reported that the CEO and another board member, the CEO, Jesse Hong, and a board member, Trench Cove, are both selling large amounts of their NVIDIA stocks. The CEO sold in the past 30 days $200 million worth of his stock. The board member has sold $280 million in the last 30 days. Now, my perspective is, it's being put forth, something's going on. Well, it appears that their stock has reached all-time highs. I think these guys are just cashing out, getting some money out. From Hal Turner, this is pretty big news. The CIA director, John Ratcliffe, this is President Trump's CIA director, has referred to the DOJ for criminal investigation. The former CIA director, John Brennan, and the former FBI director, James Comey. So while we're seeing some strange activity with the Epstein list, at least we are seeing some positive moves to bring traitors to justice. We have this from the earthquakechannel.com, and this came out yesterday. They were predicting in 33 hours the big one in Los Angeles and Ventura. So we'll have to keep our eye on that. Breitbart is, yes, talking about there was an ICE ambush in Alvarado, Texas. I believe they're Soros, MoveOn.org funded thugs and illegals came up to the ICE facility in Alvarado, Texas and put graffiti all over it, calling ICE traitors and pigs and so on. Two unarmed ICE agents went outside to confront the vandals and tell them to leave, stop putting that graffiti on the building. When they did, the vandals, illegals, or whatever, opened fire on the two ICE agents. One ICE agent was injured. He was flown to a local hospital. I believe that was in Lubbock. So they arrested the vandals who were opened fire, and they've also shot dead one individual. This was near the ICE Prairie Land Detention Center. So that's going on. And now we have this from Breitbart. Yeah, we had a shooter in Alvarado, Texas. No, this is a separate incident. There had a shooter on the border, dressed in black tactical gear, who tried to engage ICE agents. This was another shooting altogether. And the shooter then opened fire, and he was instantly neutralized. The shooter is identified as Ryan Moscata of Michigan. So that's going on. We need to be in prayer for our ICE and Border Patrol people. Texas is currently moving a bill through its legislature to ban Sharia or Islamic law being applied anywhere in the state of Texas. Hal Turner is reporting, we've had a massive hit on Ukraine. So we've got Russia, Belarus, Ukraine. Russia launched its biggest hit in the last 24 hours on Ukraine, involving 728 drones, 14 missiles. And I had a source that said that apparently Russia is taking almost up to 50 miles per day in Ukraine. Apparently there's little pushback. And these strikes in the last 24 hours were near Lutsk, West Ukraine. And they hit airports. Russia hit airports in Lutsk, Zaporozhye, and Kharkiv. They also hit a Ukraine air base in Zaporozhye. So that's going on. We have this from a source that Germany is to put forth a draft bill in its legislature for 2026. Germany Chancellor Merz has said Germany will engage directly in war with Russia. Lithuania and Finland are building and producing landmines. Merz of Germany says diplomacy has failed. Now we see something strange going on also. So we have Germany, Poland, and we see Poland putting tanks and troops along this area. We've got Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. We've got here the Suwalki Gap, which I believe Russia will take. That's inside both Lithuania and Poland. Poland is putting troops on its border with Belarus and also this area with Kaliningrad, a Russian enclave. But strangely, Poland is putting troops and tanks along its border with Germany. So that's going on. So this concludes my flash. I love you, and I'll see you soon.